Bismillah, 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 Bismillah. Life is full of challenges, but the most persistent one is that, who am I? Who are you? Who are we? Who are they? How did it start? Where are we from? Where is our destiny? The basic drive in all of this is that we are curious, hopeful, desiring ultimate, perfect destiny. We think, we plan, we organize, we arrange, we run, we cooperate, we go to war, all of this in order to hope for a better destiny, better outcome. What does that really mean? It means we are, as human beings, within space and time, have a bit of an opportunity to act, to do or undo, give or take, all of these few things that we human beings enjoy doing, has given an authority for a short while within small space to make changes. Ultimately, those changes is for our own interpretation of reality, for reordering our mindset, our value system, so as we are in the moment. All what we are trying at all times is to be in the moment, fully, totally. And that means timelessness. If you are riding on the drift of now, then it's forever. Then you have been touching the boundaries of space and time in which we are limited. I would like to share with you about a dozen short ayahs of Quran. And I will include, inadvertently, it's not possible not to, another dozen short ayahs which I will not refer to. But the 10 or so which are clear, you will have their list also, and you can dive into them whenever you want to meditate and reflect. These are like beams or like strands of the nest of creation on earth. So take any strand, any direction, any beam, it will show you it had originated from the absolute, and it ends upon itself, returning back to the absolute. Bismillah. I want to begin with an ayah that describes an aspect of the nature of human being in terms of his endeavor. Ya ayyuha al-insanu innaka kadihun ila rabbika kadha. O human being, you are struggling, striving, toiling towards what? Towards your origin. It was the Lord which has caused this event of your birth, heading towards death, to take place. So it's a toiling. It's toil. It is, we are all the time in the turmoil and with impatience. Impatience means I want to get to the end of that loop of time. That means I want timelessness. That means I want to be where my soul is, which is timeless. فَمُلَاقِيهِ, it says, and you will come to it. You will complete that loop. You'll come to know the truth, that the truth was there, is there, has always been there, and there is only the truth. Another ayah describes the nature of the nafs. The nafs here is both the highest in me and the lowest. The highest is the ruh, or the spirit, or the soul, which has all the divine qualities. And the lower is what had evolved over the last billions of years from a tiny cell into all kinds of insects and animals and creatures and plants, and eventually, very recently, the Homo sapien, the Adamic being, maybe 50, 100,000, 200,000 years ago, which if you put it again in context, in terms of time, if time was 1 day, 24 hours, this would be only the last 2, 3 seconds before the end of the day. Every self will taste an end which began with death. كل نفس ذائقة الموت. You will taste. ذوق is to taste impact upon you. It makes it immediate. That's why I hear of something. It doesn't touch me so much. But if I see it, it touches me more. But if I'm in it, I am completely absorbed and unified with it. Every self will taste death. وَنَبْلُوَكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. And every human being is afflicted, is tested, is tried, is presented with what we like, which is goodness. I like this, I want it with me, don't go away, I love this house or you, whatever, forever. We wanted to permanentize it. And shar, that I don't like. It's bad news, especially when somebody comes with a bill. They have to show you, no, actually it's a payment for you. And then when they get very close, they turn it into the bill. So you welcome them first, and then you revert back being human being, al-hakum al-takathur. We want more, 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 and endless. This is the nature of the nafs. It will experience its extinction of the lower end of it, which is the mind, which is the body. So the higher self, the ruh, as such is timeless until the end of creation. But the individual self, the identified self, the so-called me, will taste its extinction. Now, where do I get this map from? Where shall I find a clear direction or a path? Here we are fortunate in Islam in having the Quran and its prescriptions and descriptions of the situations that we all end up with. يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. Nabi is the apostle, the prophet. The root of the word is naba, news. So many modern states, they have Wazarat al-Anba, the Ministry of News. They start giving you some rubbish propaganda because they have monopoly over whatever it is, radio or television, whatever. So it says, oh prophet, your mission, your message, Islam is not a set of conducts or rules or regulations or hierarchy of clerics. Islam is a message. So we, oh giver of the news, we have sent you to witness. This is the ultimate true start of the human endeavor, to see things as they are, to witness them in their true reality at that moment. No reality lasts as such except reality itself. So you have to witness it for what it is. They are disagreeing because they wanted the same thing and it can't be divided, so they are now at loggerhead. So you have to be clear witnesser without making judgment. If you do, then you have taken sides. May not be a bad thing, but you are no longer a full, clear, independent, and honest witness. وَمُبَشِّرًا, give them the good news. The good news is there is a controller. The good news is Al-Hayy Al-Qayyum. If ever you want to remind yourself of the good news, just recite that. Ever living, perpetual, before time, within time, after time, Hayy, 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 ever living. Qayyum, the most magnificent, perfect governor, Qayyum, in charge of rebalancing things, giving, taking, in the seen world as well as the unseen, because the unseen is far greater. So this is the good news, Bishara. We all want good news. We all want, give me good news. So if somebody asks you that, tell them the good news is that there is an aspect in you that is eternal, and an aspect in you, which is your mind and body, which you will be relieved of. That's the good news. Nadhiran, give them a warning that you have limited time on this earth. You're born, you will die. In between, you are supposed to address your highest level of intelligence or highest level of consciousness out of the lower level of conditioned consciousness to rise into the highest reality, your own true cause, which is a divine mystery. We call it ruh, soul, or spirit, or whatever other names. But that is the warning. If you are not doing it, if you are not piercing that threshold of illusions of mind and body, then you remain miserable. And as you get older, you get more miserable and more confused. وَدَاعِيًا إِلَى اللَّهِ بِإِذْنِهِ. Having done these things, witness things for what they are, seeing the magnificent eternal light which bears the good news, and also its shadow, which is a warning that if you don't do this, you will regret it, because time, space, your soul are not your invention. They're all given gifts by the divine. And if you don't do all of this, then you suffer, and you don't like to suffer because that's how you've been programmed. And call others to this precinct of truth, to Allah. وَدَاعِيًا إِلَى اللَّهِ بِإِذْنِهِ. By His grace, that is what is intended. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغٌ أَمْرَهُ. Allah will attain what He has created and what He created it for. وَسِرَاجًا مُنِيرًا. And having done all of these, you witnessed, you are basking in the good news, and you know the downside of it, dark side of it, and then you are open to anybody who wants to come to this banquet. And now you are, if there is nothing, you're on your own, whatever, you are yourself an illumined lamp, which is your soul, which is your own ruh. It in itself irradiates light. And then, what is this light? What is this beginning, has no beginning and has no end, and we want it, and it is in us, and we try to acquire? The description is, هو الأول والآخر, it's the first and the last. والظاهر والباطن, that which appears, which we get a lot occupied with. Most of our activities are occupied with that which appears, which is physical, material, chemical, and batin. And we know now through basic science that dark matter, or the unseen, whatever is much more than anything we discern through the mind. Batin. It's unknown, it's unseen, it's unfathomable. The whole cosmos. How big is it? Where is the end of it? هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن وهو بكل شيء عليم. And that reality, that deity, that God, knows everything as it is, as it changes, as it has been, as it will be. And that reality, وهو معكم أينما كنتم, is with you, within you, no matter who you are, where you are. I mean, if this is not the ultimate puzzle and the most ultimate challenge, what is? It says that Noor, which is eternal, is in you, within you, motivates you, drives you, has given you the experience of life. There's nothing greater than that. There's no treasure greater than that, which is beyond measure. And then, what about then this human self? Why am I angry? Why do I get so upset? Why fearful? Why do I fear provision? What about my food tomorrow? What about if I am ill? Who's going to help me? What? ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها. And this human self is like a spectrum. The self is a wide range of touches or beams of consciousness. The lower part of it, that has been evolving for billions of years, is self-desiring. It's a cell that wants to maintain its life. Once it appears more and more and more over billions of years, then the animal will defend itself. It is obsessed with its own life. It has empathy, emotions, whatever, it likes other lives as well. But when it is reduced to ultimately what is the most important thing is its own life. So it's obsessed with its own life. This is the nature of the self. And then it is generally day to day is in between, from being magnanimous, very selfless, help others, be generous, be kind, be considerate, be, as the Quran does, be universal, above angels. This is what we like. There was a very kind, considerate, helpful, generous, what. But equally, there is also the lower end in us. Totally selfish, fearful, me, and so on. فألهمها فجورها وتقواها. Now, this is the description which leads to the prescription. قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. He who has managed to move higher in that scale of the spectrum of the self, he who has purified himself or herself from the lower animal self, is on the path of success. And that also in Quran is described as su'ud. Sa'ada is not as we translate as happiness. It means having achieved and attained the purpose for your life. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. And he who denies the need to drive, to get out of the lower mire towards the light that illumines all, then they will be only at a loss. And there is nothing for them after death other than continuation of that darkness and loss, which is also described as hell. And the purpose of all of this is summed up by all of this, meaning you, I, all creation, all entities that are experiencing life. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Creation of the known entities, human being, and their equivalent, jinn, is only for them to experience life, move on, mature, and realize that really all what they want is to be in awe and in adoration of the perfection. That's why we love to disappear from the mental, if you like, processes. We want to go beyond the mind. We want to lose ourselves in prayers. You lose to drift along music that takes you out of yourself. We want to have a good body, good mind, clear, all of that, but we also want to transcend it, go past it. And that is how we get properly calibrated regarding the lower self and the higher self. So, you and I as human beings cannot exist without its counterbalance, which is jinn, same as us, unknown, unseen, jinnis. There are also families, tribes, nations. Amongst them there are criminals, amongst them there are good beings and whatever, and prophetic beings. So the purpose, the essence, or the initial, if you like, the octane behind the drive that we have is for us to perfect worship, perfect the ability to switch off and touch timeless zone. Here we are caught in space and time, and we want more time. We want more space. It's endless because the ruh in you is not bounded. The ruh in you is perpetually singing the tune and the truth of Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater, boundless. So the nafs, which is its shadow, wants the same. It's a drive towards it. It can never attain it because the shadow only reflects the light and the movement of light that creates it. But it strives towards that, towards unity. Everything that exists is one of two: dualities, pluralities, multiplicities, emanating from the one, sustained by the light of the one, or the energy of the one, returning back to the one. So everything in existence is moving towards its destiny, which is in higher consciousness. Higher until it becomes pure consciousness. Consciousness itself, which is the first light, Nur Samawati wal Ard, what emerges from the beginning of creation. Then we have the beautiful ayah, and there is nothing in existence ever except that it is worshipping and adoring and expressing its gratitude to the Creator. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. There is nothing ever in existence unless it is expressing its joy of being touched by life. Look at creation, look at the plants, look at the birds, look at the creatures. They're joyfully expressing themselves in every way. It's not just song, it's even when they are about to hunt. Look at the lion. It's fine when it is lying down in peace and so on, it's beautiful. Equally, how about when it is about to catch its prey? So it's there also expressing its adoration, ever living. It, as an animal, is programmed to participate in its bit in maintaining its life through hunting and eating and so on. It goes on and on and on. All attributes emanating from the one. These attributes are like beams that create this nest in which we are caught, or this web in which we are resting in this temporary passage we have, which is on earth. So nothing ever exists unless it is expressing its gratitude to have been touched by life. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. But we cannot understand it through our feeble minds. Unless you stop yourself, your identity, enter into that beingness with its limitation. Become the ant pursuing this tiny little thing that it has found, and it can't drag it now. So it waits until some other ant come, and the two of them cooperate immediately to take it to the collective goodness. We are the same. We are never able to survive alone, on our own. We are collective beings. So you can only survive on this earth by acknowledging and having respect for the collective need, desire, and all of the other things. Then also don't deny the individual, because you are both. You are an individual who wants to excel, who wants to show, who wants to be acknowledged, who wants to be admired, and all of the other childish things that the mind and the ego goes through. But equally, you are not separate from anybody else. There is sameness everywhere, with a slight biographical, if you like, racial or any other type of this, to distinguish you. In truth, all human beings are the same. We all want the same thing ultimately. It is to know that destiny for you is the best, provided you are focused on the light of the best. If you are focused on the best, moving towards the best, doing your utmost to protect yourself from anything other than the best, then your destiny will certainly be the garden that has no beginning and no end. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. It is those people who have faith, trust. They are at rest. Amn, iman. They are insured. They are content fully with the unseen, the uncertainty, because he or she have done what they can with what is relatively certain. Yeah, I closed the door. I made sure the roof is reasonably all right so it doesn't fall at night. I've done what I can. The rest is in Allah's hand. I now completely trust in the unseen. And if the roof falls on me and I'm dead, then it was definitely the best for me, because we don't know what was going to come, what mayhem was going to come the next day. So I was saved immediately, and my ruh had left at peace. يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. You are certain, secure with the unseen. Most human endeavors at the time we are living in now is to be sure, certain, absolute. Are you sure? The whole thing is hanging on air. Our tiny little earth is circling around itself 1,000 miles an hour and circling around the sun at many, many more miles an hour. And so the whole solar system is being flung in the universe at much higher speed also. And here we are, it's absolutely certain investment. You invest in this, you invest in that, but you have not invested in your own ruh, the treasure beyond measure. No, because I'm occupied, I can't help it, I have to have a new car, because I have to have this, because there is power cuts, and all to do with minor existential conveniences for sustenance and ease. How easy is it for you to leave your body and mind behind? Have you been practicing that? Are you cheerful about departure from with what you have identified with wrongly, that you are this being and that being and this mind and these memories you have, and you don't know what they did to me, and you don't know that I don't like it there, they didn't honor me. All that rubbish to assert the ego, which has no reality whatsoever other than few electrons has whizzed around within, if you like, your brain, and that made your mindset. Without a mindset, you can't function on earth, because in reality you are a ruh. How can a heavenly, boundless, timeless entity accept being caught in a bit of a, human, biology, physiology, with all of the mucuses and all of the other strange things that are going on, hundreds and thousands of organs interacting in their own perfect chemistry? What are you doing about it? What have you done about requesting the condition of your kidney today? Or what about the oxygen in your blood? Do you know how it is replenishing itself? And on and on and on. We take it for granted. This is me. And then the most important thing in the so-called you is to leave the so-called you, have a deep sleep. I mean, if this is not the ultimate, mystery of all cynicism and this is who we are. Temporary passage on earth for the soul, for the boundless bundle of light, your inner essence, to be exposed to countless realities, dualities, the good and the bad and the up and the down. And so that it has had its exposure on earth. So it has now become fully heavenly and earthly, has encompassed the shadows and the lights on earth. So it is all about doing your best in the seen, trusting in the unseen. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. The word here is yaqeen. And as for the hereafter, they are absolutely certain of. So this is a major, major condition. You will hardly find people who truly bask in the joy of the knowledge that the hereafter is absolutely the certainty to which we, all of us, are moving towards. With every breath, we're getting closer to that which is absolute, which is beyond time and space, and that is the hereafter, which reveals to us the real so-called you, all the different intentions you have, all of the different desires and hopes and wishes and love and whatever you have hidden, whatever you have shown, whatever was in between will be instantly revealed to you when the body and the mind have been, in a way, discarded. The light of the soul will show it to you instantly. Nothing ever is hidden. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ سُعِدُوا فَفِي الجَّنَّةِ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا مَا دَامَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ رَبُّكَ عَطَاءً غَيْرَ مَحْدُودٍ. This ayah gives you the full story as to the meaning of success, the meaning of attainment, the meaning of happiness. As for those, the ayah says, who have entered into this zone of awakening, of fullness, full beingness. As for those who have attained this gift that is given to them by them going for it, by excluding all of the other distractions, having succeeded, those people are in the paradise, in the garden, in the eternal garden, khalidina fiha, timelessly. That means you have touched within your own heart a zone of joy or bliss that is not pleasure. Pleasure is part of duality. It comes with pain. It is sheer bliss. It's a gift. It is none other than a grace that comes all the time. But you need to have yourself prepared to receive the grace. The preparation is to be truly having cleaned yourself, done your best, clarified your mind, purified your heart, ready now, and trusting in that it will come to you in its own perfect timing, not at the time you want. The so-called you is tarnished with confusion, but when your soul is ready, it will happen. It's like fire. Try to make a fire. You try, you do, you've prepared yourself to create heat by turning or twisting the piece of hard wood into a situation where there are tiny little, if you like, bits of dry wood to catch possibly from the spark that you are generating. You have to do your best, continue, and then on its own. Fire knows when it is ready for it to take on where it has been hoped to occur. Fire is there always, but doesn't manifest. You need to create the conditions for its manifestation. So you and I too, we need to create the condition for joyful, blissful, everlasting happiness. That is being at one with the one within your own heart. That is being that the mind has to be clear, still, has no fears, no anxieties, no duties, nothing. All of these have been attended to. And there is no guilt. You're now neutral. You are truly ready for whatever is being bestowed for you or upon you. Khalidina fiha. The ayah describes those who are in this state of in paradise. They're in it so long as heavens and earth are there. So long as heavens and earth are there, there is an aspect of time and timelessness. But once they go, then there is no more time. So this ayah is exceptionally deep to tell us how long is paradise and hell is going to last. The ayah tells you it will not last forever. It is relatively forever so long as there are heavens and earth. Many, God knows how many billions of years. Once that is gone, then that also, whatever was described as gone. But whilst you are in billions of years, it's the same as eternity. That is why it is in the Quran referred to as eternal, khalidina fiha. But then the condition is there brilliantly being attached to it. Ma damat as-samawati wal ard. So long as the heavens and earth are there, then the garden is eternal in that respect. Allah's ways are beyond us. We really need to put things in perspective. We forget that our life which is whatever it is a tiny, 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 minuscule in terms of the billions of years that life on Earth has been going on. So put things in perspective. Same thing, consciousness. There are multiverses. There must be billions of other different consciousnesses. In your own sleep, there is a consciousness. In all kinds of, each one of us have at least a dozen, if not more, discernible levels of consciousnesses. What if you are totally, you've lost your mind because of intense fear? What if you are under heavy bombardment? Your mind cannot think anymore in the normal way of discernment. It is focused on your personal survival. It's a very, very narrow beam of consciousness. So it's a multiverse, countless, and they all meet, mingle, interact with each other. Our universe is only one little beam out of billions of other universes, some of which interact with each other, others do not interact locally, they interact only at a much higher level in energy waves that are not discernible, that are subtle, 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 subtle radiations, not anymore based on atoms or molecules. It's not even quarks, or it's based on subtler energy beyond any perception. And that's what more than 95% of the universe, our universe, is made of. But here we are on this tiny little earth, a bit of material, a bit of stones, a bit of this, and we give value. One of the biggest expensive items on earth, shows you how frivolous we are meteorites. You know, they're selling in millions of dollars a piece of rock. They say, oh, this rock traveled at 150,000 miles an hour. It's the most fantastic thing. But we are traveling like that ourselves also, within the universe, within the cosmos. We are very frivolous. We do not want to face the vastness of the nature of our own ruh. Because if we do face it, then you have to lose your mind. And if you and I have identified ourselves with the mind, then you suddenly find yourself in the biggest danger of so-called losing your identity. But your identity, my identity, are tiny little specks that emanated from cosmic reality. But no, it's my identity, so I can't think, no, that's not good. I must assert my personality. I'm a very strong personality. And all that other rubbish that we are taught in order to enhance more and more our illusory, materialistic boundaries. This is mine, and this, and I will do that. And I can sue you, I can conquer. Warfare, warfare, warfare. 5,000 years ago, warfare was one or two people quarreling with maybe a spear made of bamboo or something. Slowly by slowly, we discovered there is amazing energy hidden within the atom. So we learned the other day how to be able to release that energy. So we became the owners of atom bombs, hydrogen bombs, thousands of them, whose maintenance is in the billions of dollars a year, and on and on and on. Truly, we have taken the human possibility to its lowest end collectively. And that foolishness can be reflected upon by grace of Allah during periods of time like now. Lockdown. You can't go anywhere. You have invested this. You've got all the clothes. You have all the tickets. There's nowhere to go. Sit back and reflect. Our collective folly, without blame or claim, just see it for what it is. All anxiety that tomorrow may be better than today. What about 100 years from now? What about after you die? Do you know it will be for sure better than any other day? If you don't, then you have work to do. And that work is to go through the nature of the human being, through the duality of the outer self, the mind, the ego, and the inner ruh, and its nature of infinitude as eternal reality. Reflect, 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 identify more with that which is durable and real, and your day-to-day short-term realities will be the best. If you live as though tomorrow is the ultimate, is the hereafter, then today, as the Quran promises you, will be the best. Go for the ultimate, the penultimate will be fine. Put yourself in a state that you have no power of your own, then the divine power in every way will wash over you and will energize you. Assalamu alaikum.